And I'm going to pull up our textbook. So let's see. Our textbook is right in here. So we're talking about something today called main idea. So if I were to ask you guys the question, hey, Angel, what's the main idea of the story? What would you tell me? What do you think you'd say the main idea is of a story? What do you guys think? What does it mean, main idea?
The whole point of the story.
Wonderful, Javier. The whole point of the story. That's awesome. Oh, Evan, I see what you're posting. Hold on, before we get too far into our lesson. Check it out, Edson. Do you see that picture that Evan posted in the chat? I want to be a gemstone. And he shared all those beautiful gemstones. That's cool, Evan. That's
Yeah,
just
like this.
like that, yeah. That's cool. All right, we're going to focus again on the lesson, but that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Evan. Okay, so what Javier said, he said main idea is basically the whole point of the story, right? What's the story about? That is the main idea. But then with main idea, we always have to have details. Now, what do they mean by the main idea and details? What's main idea and details, you guys? Javier?
Like pieces of information.
That's right. Yeah, like pieces of information. Usually those pieces of information support the main idea, right? So think about it, you guys. Remember last week we wrote about our favorite day ever. Remember? So you guys shared a whole bunch of your favorite things, and that would just make your favorite day ever. So like Edson, I remember you had like Transformers, and Lucas, you talked about your family, and Evan talked about a lot of good stuff. You guys all had really cool things. Javier, you had Pokemon. So you guys shared stories about your favorite day ever. All right, with that story, the main idea of it was your favorite day, right? My favorite day ever. That's like the whole point of the story was favorite day. And then you guys provided details to share why it would be your favorite day, right? You shared a whole bunch of things. Hey, this is my favorite day because I would hang out with my family. I'd go to the zoo, whatever you guys chose. I'd go to Universal Studios, someone said. I'd go to Japan, someone else said. And so that's what your guys' favorite days looked like. So the main idea, the whole point of that story was main idea, and then the details were everything else that you put to support your main idea. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, I'm gonna have you guys do some reading for me, okay? So we're gonna read about main idea. What's that? Oh, thank you. So we're gonna be reading about main idea. Let me hold that up for you guys. Let's see. All right, give me a second, you guys. You got a mistake. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's have Rocky read for us. Rocky, can you read this first point?
The main idea is the most important idea about the topic. Those are small pieces of information that tell you more about the main idea.
Perfect. Good job, Rocky. Okay, so there's main idea and details, right? The most important idea of the story. That's main idea. Then the details are just the smaller pieces. All right. And then let's have Lucas read this one. Go ahead, Lucas.
Hmm. State the main idea.
Lucas, we can't hear you very good.
Sometimes the author states the main idea of a paragraph or an entire article in a single sentence at the beginning, middle, or end. Other times, the author leaves the main idea unstated, so readers must put it into their own words.
Wonderful. Good job, Lucas. So just like Lucas was saying, sometimes the author just tells us the main idea. Sometimes we have to figure out what the main idea is. Okay? All right, here's another question for you guys. Who knows what a summary is? What is a summary? If I read a story and I say, okay, Edson, write a summary about the story, what are you going to do? What's a summary?
The title.
Okay, so the title does have lots of good information, but that's not what a summary is. Good guess, though, Javier. What's a summary, you guys? Should we look up the definition? Who can Google summary for me? Do your research, you guys. What is a summary? Here, I'll put it in the chat. You spell it like this, summary. Who can Google that for me? The definition. Edson, well, thank you, Edson. Edson says, I don't know. That's okay. Evan, you said, I don't know. Hold on. Should we look it up? Here, let's look it up. Summary. Definition.
Information.
Yeah, yes. It's going to be like information about what you read, right? You're going to make a brief statement or account of the main points of something. Oh, Evan, I love your picture. Look at that. Evan said a picture. So you may read a story, and then I can say, hey, tell me a summary about the story. Has anyone ever seen the movie Harry Potter? The first one, Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter. Raise your hand if you've seen Harry Potter. No one's seen Harry Potter? Oh, Javier's seen Harry Potter. Okay, good.
I know Harry Potter.
Oh, good. Rocky knows Harry Potter too. So in Harry Potter, if I were to do a summary, you guys, I'm not going to make it really long like the whole movie. I'm going to do it nice, short, and simple. So I'm going to say Harry Potter is a story about a boy who finds out he's a wizard and attends a school called Hogwarts for the first time ever and runs into all sorts of adventures and challenges. And then I'd like leave it at that in his first year of school. Okay, so that's what I would say is like a summary. I just kind of sum up the story. Okay, so let's go back to our main idea and details. So we're gonna be reading a story, and I'm gonna ask you guys some questions after we read it. The first question is, what was the main idea of the story? So what's the whole point of the story? The next question I'm going to ask you is, hey, what is a detail you could share from the story? And then finally, I'm going to ask you guys to give me a quick summary about the story. So here is our story. It is called Bronze. Now, does anyone remember what bronze is? It was one of our vocab words this week. Who remembers? Miss Dora taught it to you yesterday, right? Javier?
It's like a brownish but yellowish type of metal.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, a brownish yellowish type of metal. Anyone ever seen the Olympics? In the Olympics, they get a gold, silver, and bronze medal, right, for the first, right? Gold is first place, silver second place, bronze is third place, right? Let me show you some. Yes, yeah, that would be Olympics, huh? Bronze is like a yellowish brownish metal. So we're going to be reading about the metal bronze, okay? So here we go. That's one of our vocab words this week. All right, let's zoom in here. And we're going to get our readers. I already had Rocky and Lucas read for us, so let's get Angel. Actually, Angel, can you see? I know you're like driving. Can you see the words? Or is it too small?
I just have to try to zoom in.
Let me zoom in more for you.
Okay, that's good. That's good. People have used
Bronze. Good.
bronze for thousands
Of years? Oh, of course.
thousands of years to make many things. Bronze is a soft metal from
Copper.
copper. It cannot be or bent, so it's not good at the
Material.
material from making teeth. However, in
Molten.
remoted or liquids from it can be
Shape.
shaped into things such as
Statues.
statues.
Beautiful. Wow. Great reading. Thank you so much, Angel. All right. So Angel read our first paragraph of our story for us. This is so awesome. Check it out. In this first sentence, notice that this paragraph is basically telling us what this whole story is about. Okay. So this paragraph basically gives us a summary or the main idea of what the story is going to be about. So bronze, they say, is made of copper and tin. Whoa. Did you guys know that bronze is an alloy? Have you guys ever heard the word alloy? A-L-L-O-Y.
I heard of it.
Okay, what is an alloy? Do you know, Javier?
It's like a type of metal.
Yes, it's when you mix more than one kind of metal. So bronze does not happen just on its own. We can't go find that, and mine it out of the mountain or anything. Bronze is something that we mix copper and tin together to make. So let me show you copper. This is what copper looks like. Copper metal. This is what copper looks like. It's kind of like an orangey brown. See? Okay. Very similar to bronze. Okay, but it's different. It's copper. And then let me show you tin metal. This is what tin looks like. Okay, some of us know tin foil, right? A lot of our pop cans are made out of tin. So tin and copper, when you melt those down and mix them together, they make bronze, okay? It's called an alloy. All right, so bronze it's a pretty fragile metal. It's not like it's super strong or anything. It's kind of a soft metal. So we can't hammer or bend it, they say. Instead, what they do is they melt it down. So they get it really hot and they melt it down. And then they shape it into things such as statues, pots, and bowls. So if we scroll down, look, we have this like statue that someone's made. out of bronze. And that's because they melted the metal down and made it into that. Okay, now let's have Edson read for us next. So Edson, you're going to read this paragraph for us, okay? Starts with thousands of years ago. If you can put your mic on, Edson. Edson, put your mic on. All right, ready, Edson? You put your mic on, please, and thank you. It's your turn to read for us, Edson. You're typing? Perfect. All right. Here you go. Thanks, Edson. Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago,
Bronze.
bronze can shape max meth
Using. Say using.
using metal was made out
Lost wax
of
method.
clay. When it
In. Go ahead, Edson. Say in this method.
this method when max clay
Say a model was
was
made.
made out of copper of old clay.
Yeah, plaster or clay. Good. Then
Then it was
coated.
coated in max, following
Wax
the other layer of pop
plaster.
of clay. When heat the max melt away, leave a place the proper
Bronze.
bronze and was metal and
Poured.
would into the space when it cools the proper
Plaster. It's like clay.
of clay. When it took off, it cooled the plaster of clay or clay. We can use this small
Method.
method. Only one item could be made of metal.
Very nice reading, Edson. Thank you so much. All right. So they
Okay,
used a method.
I also look right there in the chat.
What did you say in the chat?
Mommy,
Oh, Rocky, that was so nice.
look.
Rocky's so encouraging. Oh my goodness, Rocky, I have to give you extra points today for that. That was so nice. Okay, the lost wax method, you guys. Guess what? Okay, well, first off, who can tell me what wax is? What's wax?
It's like used like for a candle.
Like a candle. So they would use wax and clay to make a model. Let me show you. Wax, lost wax method. Check it out. So look at this picture. They make a wax figure, so in this case an apple. They put it inside clay, and then as it gets heated up, the wax melts and it leaves a clay or plaster model that you can then dump melted bronze into, and it makes a statue. Isn't that cool? All right, let's keep reading. Lucas, I'm gonna have you read. Read next.
Look right there in the. Look right there in the. Look right said.
Here, hold on.
At where?
We're gonna have Lucas read first, and then I'll read your chat. Okay? Go ahead, Lucas. Oops.
In the time, molds were found out of different materials, such as wood. A wooden mold could be used again and again. It was pressed into sand, and when it was
Removed.
the impression was left in the sand. Bronze was poured into the sand. Later it was removed and the surface was smooth. Bronze is still used today. You may even have some items made from bronze in your home.
Nice. Thank you so much, Lucas. Great reading too. All right. So they even had, so maybe they used the lost wax method, or in time, maybe they used wood models, or maybe they used some sand, or let's see what else. So they have lots of different ways to make molds or models for bronze. And then the bronze, it cools down, and then you have like a statue. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, you guys. Do you remember the 3 questions I was going to ask you? Oh, cool. Look at that. Yeah.
And
Cool. That's it.
and the question.
I saw. Look at that. Aw, thank you, Roxanne. You guys are so nice to each other.
I also found pictures of wax bowls.
Oh, you did? Do you want to put them in the chat?
Well, I can't put it in the chat, but I can be able to show the image.
Oh, sure. Here, let me see if you can share your screen with us. I'm thinking. Oh, look at that. Oh, those are really cool looking. Those are neat. Okay, so here you guys go. I needed to ask you guys 3 questions. The first was, what is the main idea? Remember, number 1, what's the main idea of this story? So who can tell me what the main idea of that story we just read was? What was the whole point? What was the main idea? Oh, Javier, thank you for raising your hand. Go ahead.
The main idea of the story was about bronze and also wax, and also a lot of metal and wax figures.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like it was like the process of melting bronze and turning it into figures, right? Kind of. Does that sound about right? The main idea of the story? Good. And they even use wax. Good, Javier. I love it. All right. So that's a good main idea. Who can share one detail from the story that talked about bronze? So who remembers something that happened in the story? Evan, do you remember something from the story? Thanks for raising your hand, Javier. Wait a second. I'm going to ask Evan real quick, and then I'll ask you again. Evan, go ahead and put your mic on. Thank you. All right. Can you tell us at least one detail that happened in our story we just read about bronze? What was something you remember that you thought was cool? Which one should we share? Do you want me to help you find a sentence to share, Evan? All right, here, let's see. Do you want to talk about the detail? Ooh, how about this one? Should we say that, I'm going to highlight it in green, in molten liquid form, do you see this? Can this be shaped? Do you see that? The green one?
Mhm.
What does it say, Evan? What's a detail you could share? Let me erase the other one so it's not confusing. So Evan, you could say bronze.
Bronze
And then I'd say in molten liquid form.
in molten or liquid form, it can be shaped into statues, pots, and bowls.
Yeah, very good, Evan. I love that detail from there. And then they even showed a statue down below, right, in a picture. Awesome detail, Evan. Did anyone else have a detail they wanted to share? I know Javier had his hand raised. Good job, Evan. Was that your detail? Did Evan take your detail, Javier? Or do you have another one you want to share?
Well, I was gonna say like how they melted down the bronze and make it into figures.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what Evan shared. Awesome. Good detail. Awesome. All right. And then the last question I had for you was a summary. Oh my goodness, we're going to be working on summaries in the next little bit. At the end of this weekend, I might even try it next week too, more summaries. So who wants to give their best try at a summary of our story? Anyone want to give their best try at a summary? It's kind of like the main idea, honestly, because this is such a short story. Who could sum up our story in a few sentences? Any volunteers? I think Angel was just stretching. I saw Angel's hand like this, but I think it was just a stretch. Do you guys need help coming up with a summary? Here. I remember summary was like giving a snippet of the story. Remember summary? A brief statement about the account or main points of something. So here we go. This is the summary I'm going to do of the story. I'm going to say this story was about the process of melting copper and tin to make bronze and molding and putting it in a mold to make figures, statues, pots, or bowls. There. That's all I'm going to say. That's the summary. Woo. Pretty cool. All right, you guys. We had an assignment we were going to do, but I just took way too much time on this concept, and that's okay because sometimes, it's good to really talk about something so that we understand it. So our assignment that we had is called Main Ideas. You know what? I'm going to save it for another time for us, okay? So I'm going to go to our assignment tab actually, and I'm just going to delete that so you guys don't feel like you have to do that for homework because I definitely want to help you with it. I don't want you to have to do it by yourself. So I'm going to go delete this main idea real quick. So don't worry about doing it. We'll find another time to do it. And then I'm going to let you guys have a quick break before you log on with Mrs. Dora, okay? So Mrs. Dora's group's going to start in 10 minutes at 12:41, okay? So does that sound good? You guys want to go take a 10-minute break real quick and then come right back and ready to learn and participate with Miss Dora, okay? All right. Good job today, you guys. Sounds good. All right. Go take a quick 10-minute break and then be right back ready to learn with Miss Dora. All right. Great job today, you guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
See ya.